I feel like I just want to set the stage here by letting you know that it's really important to change the way you eat in order to achieve the health outcomes that you want. And it's as important, if not more important, that you change the way you approach this if we want this to be sustainable, which I'm going to assume you do. I think about all the conversations I have with women who tell me all the things they've tried before. And you may or may not be in that kind of category of a person who tried a lot of things, but most people that I speak to have tried a lot of things. And they'll say, I tried this, it worked for a while, and then life got in the way. I tried this, it worked for a while, but then I went on vacation. I tried this, it worked for a while, and then I just gained all my weight back. And this whole it worked for a while is the problem to solve. This becomes a very simple paradigm, which is, okay, if things are only working for a while and then we quit them, then all we have to do is come up with something that's utterly unquittable. That's the easy solution. To make something sustainable is to quit quitting. I don't think the people that I work with are quitters by nature. I don't think you self-sabotage yourself. I don't think you're lazy. I don't think you're undisciplined. I just think the stuff we've been doing is too hard. You're not weak because you don't want to do hard things for the rest of your life. That's actually normal. That's how you are neurologically programmed, is to take the path of least resistance. We can do hard things for a while, but if there's a little opportunity to get out of the hard thing, we'll take that opportunity. We are wired to look for the easy way out. I don't think that's a defect of your character. You might take that on as a self-defect. It's not. You're okay. You're a good, hardworking human. You just maybe don't want to have to fight your body for the rest of your life. And you don't have to. The program that I've put together, my weight loss program, is, well, it's simple. My company's called Eat Simple. If you didn't know that, I know some of you would know that because you've been following me for a long time. I was sitting in the back of my nutrition school when I went back to school to be a nutritionist 14 years ago. And I was like, we're making this way too hard. Everything I was learning in nutrition school, it's too much. It's too fussy. It's way too fussy for people. I'm not going to be this kind of nutritionist. As I was getting my credential, I was like, all the stuff I'm learning, I'm not doing it. I'm going to make my own thing. I'm going to take what I know about human nutrition and metabolism and fitness and wellness and all the stuff that I know about, and I'm going to make a protocol that is simple, because I don't think food needs to be this difficult. I don't think living in a healthy body should feel hard. It should feel easy, effortless. I've created a program that I think is very simple. One of the ideas I've been really putting in front of you is this idea of the way you feel is going to determine what you do. We make decisions based on feelings. You take action based on decisions. The decisions are based on feelings. So how are you feeling? I want to just bring to light some of the common feelings that people feel when they're on any weight loss journey, including mine, validating not every one of you is here for weight loss, but you're here for something. You're here for some kind of health improvement or personal development or weight loss or all three or something else. You're here to make a change. Here are the three feelings that come up the most often on these kinds of journeys. This could be a health journey. It could be a relationship journey. It could be a financial journey, a professional journey. Any kind of development you do has these feelings as prominent players. The feelings are discouragement, frustration, and disappointment. I'm going to say those feelings a little slower. And as I say them, I want you to feel them, okay? Discouraged. That doesn't feel good. The feeling of being discouraged, just, it's a gross feeling. It's just not a good feeling in the body. That's one of the worst feelings. Frustration, frustrated. Ugh! Frustrated is such an annoying feeling. It's an annoying feeling. Oh, it's like a little fly buzzing around like, oh, I'm so frustrated. There's a physical experience of that feeling. Disappointed. That's a gross feeling. That is a heavy, almost nauseating feeling. The feeling of disappointment. There's almost nothing worse. Those are some of the feelings you're going to feel on your journey to health. Discouraged, frustrated, disappointed. Really gnarly feelings. And when those feelings come up, that's when you might quit. We have to quit quitting. So I'm just being really honest with you. I'm not saying it's easy. Anytime you have to make change, it's going to be hard. But the parameters of my protocol are simple. I'm trying to keep it real simple with you all. It's my mission statement, I guess. Achieve an effortless relationship with food. This stuff should be easy, but it's still change. Even though the practices we're putting into place are relatively simple, you're still going to have the feelings of maybe discouragement, maybe disappointment, maybe frustration, or all three at some point on this journey. And probably a good chunk of that will be coming down to a couple different things. First of all, I don't know what I'm doing or understand why I'm doing this, or I'm just kind of getting overwhelmed or bored or disinterested in this method of eating. Like, what are we doing here? Can I have the next step? I just need the next step. Like, give me more information. Kind of feeling almost discouraged by the fact that there's not more to do. It's a little bit of a cognitive dissonance. Like, yeah, I do want it to be simple, but also shouldn't it be hard? Shouldn't it be hard? If I want results, shouldn't this feel miserable and hard? No, we tried that. It didn't work. So let's try simple instead, right? The other really common source of these feelings would be in the results you think you should be getting on a certain timeline that's basically been created somewhere in your brain. Let's acknowledge the feelings, because the feelings are what are going to make you quit. Think about it. The only reason you'd quit is because of a feeling. I feel like I'm not seeing results fast enough, so I'm going to quit and go do something else. That's really not a good plan. If you think about it, it's really very much in the realm of wheel spinning. We're not making any forward progress if we just keep hopping to the next thing, Just stick with something, anything for long enough. My program or anything else, stick with it long enough to get the appreciable outcomes you want without jumping ship. The feeling might be, I miss my old food. I miss having my little yogurty ice cream for breakfast, right? Let's talk about that. That's a feeling that we can work on. We can work on that feeling of nostalgia. What do you do when you start missing your old food? How do we reconcile that? Like, I know I need to change how I eat, but I don't want to change. This is my sign. If nothing changes, nothing changes. Why does this sign hang over my shoulder? How often do you think I have the conversation with people who say, yes, I want to change, but you know what? I just would like to change without having to change anything. God, I wish that existed. I would love to know how to do that, but we just can't. The pain of being stuck where you are now has to feel greater than the pain of change. Change is always a little painful, but is it harder to be stuck where you are now? Because if it's harder to stay stuck where you are now, then change is actually relatively less hard. So we should do it. If you're like, nah, I'm pretty good where I am. I don't really care. It's not that important to me to change my body. I'm fine. If you don't have a lot of importance here, if there's not a lot of incentive, then it's going to feel real hard to make the change. I had such a great conversation with a client yesterday who her quote was, I know what changes to make, but I don't want to make the changes. There's just some part of me that doesn't want to do it. And you have to want to do it. Again, I say we make every decision in our life based on feelings, okay? You can't motivate yourself to want to do it. You have to feel a certain way. I hate the way I feel right now. I don't want to feel this way anymore. Therefore, I do want to make the change. There has to be a strong why behind it, unfortunately. Really, in the spirit of you not quitting and not jumping to the next thing, I just want to put this conversation out there that the way you feel is going to be the thing that either keeps you focused on what we're doing here or gives you shiny object syndrome, where now you're starting to get called in by all the ads and the targeting and the algorithm of your phone, which is going to try to sell you a supplement package, is going to try to sell you a cortisol cocktail, a skinny tea. It's going to sell you a meal plan. It's going to try to sell you the next 12-week shred program. And I want to embolden you to ignore everything outside you and just come in to the experience you're having in your body and in this program and really just squeeze every drop out of it so you can say, I want the change and I'm willing to make the change, and stick it out long enough to see the results I want to get. Before we talk about how much progress we should see, we need to front load the conversation about quitting. We need to quit quitting. If you stuck anything out for long enough, you would see the results that lasted. Something I don't think enough weight loss professionals are talking about is that weight loss is skill development. Are you learning to develop the skills that will help you succeed when life feels easy and when life feels hard? It's not about some secret hack. It's about developing the skill to just be the kind of person who executes supportive eating no matter what. Life is easy, I can do it. Life is hard, I can do it. I'm traveling, I can do it. I'm dealing with big feelings, I can do it. There's an identity shift that has to happen as well. And the way I kind of bring this in is by giving you what I call the anchor actions. Break fast epically, answer hunger with a meal, eat to satiety, funnel. Those are anchor actions. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Every single day, I'm the kind of person who has an epic breakfast when I feel my first hunger. I'm the kind of person who answers my hunger with a meal. I'm the kind of person who eats to satiety to give my body back what it's asking for. I'm the kind of person who. I think I've kept this simple enough such that it's not a tremendous adjustment in your identity, but just enough of an identity shift that you become the kind of person who has the skills to execute these behaviors when life gets in the way, which it will and it should. I don't want you to be a dieter. I have a peer of mine in the weight loss space. We couldn't be more different in our approaches. We're good buddies. We get along. We couldn't be more different. She's a big time tracker. She insists that everybody should be tracking. She came onto her Instagram stories today and said, I get it. Not everybody wants to track their food or, like me, track their food for the rest of their life. She said, I'm going to track my food for the rest of my life. That's how much she loves it. If you walked in here with a bag full of money and said, Erin, I'll give you this bag of money if you track your food for the rest of your life, I'd say, get out of my house. Take that bag of money and get out of here. I'm not doing that. I'm so opposed to that deeply because when life gets hard, I won't do that. I know I won't. I don't want to. It feels too hard. It's not aligned with my values. These are the questions you got to ask yourself. It has to be aligned with your values. It has to be a set of skills that you feel confident you can execute when life is hard. So, for example, us Canadians, we've had Thanksgiving already. That's a good example of a time of life that gets in the way of dieting. But it happens every year. What are we going to do? We got to figure out Thanksgiving. We have to figure out Christmas. We have to figure out birthday parties. We got to figure out Mexico vacations. We got to figure out road trips. We got to figure out grief. We got to figure out discouragement and disappointment and frustration. We got to figure it out and ride it out. There's this concept that I stole from a marketing guru named Seth Godin. He coined the term the dip. Now, he uses it in the context of business development, but any type of development that you go through has a dip. It's like, I'm on this cliff of optimism, like everything's going to be amazing. And then you kind of drop into the dip, like this is harder than I thought it was going to be. I don't like it. When I was up here, I was optimistic that it was going to work. It was going to work. And now I'm in the valley of despair, the dip. And that's where people quit. They quit when they get in the dip. But if you grind it up out of the dip, you get to the next level. You hit a dip. You got through it. Now you're at your next level. And guess what's going to happen? You're going to hit another dip. You're going to get to another level. You're going to hit another dip and get to another level. Forever. You're constantly going to hit dips. They're not going away. I don't have the solution for the dip. Let's acknowledge the dips happen. And then when you're in the dip, say, hi, I'm in the dip. I'm feeling frustrated and discouraged and disappointed. Share your feelings. How many times can I say that? I think I've said that 100 times. Because if you don't, you're going to decide, well, this program didn't work. Nothing works for me. Nothing works for me. And that's a really powerful statement because that either means I'm defective. Nothing works for me. Either that means that you think you're problematic, you're screwed up and destined to fail, and you're not. So either we decide that's a me problem, I suck, nothing works for me, or nothing works. All these people on the internet selling me things, they're all scammers. Everybody's a scammer. Scammer. You're projecting, your feelings of discouragement out. You're not trusting anything or anybody. You're not trusting yourself. It's just a kind of a low vibration to execute life from. And I just want you to step into the fact you're making a big change. That's amazing. You should feel really proud of yourself, and it's not going to be easy. So let's make it as simple as we can. Let's work on quitting. No more quitting. When you get into the depth of the valley of despair, name and tame it. I'm in the dip. I don't like it. I'm ready to pull the pin, but then don't pull the pin. Keep going. The food stuff's easy. The feeling stuff is the hard stuff. It's just the way we feel about ourselves and about progress and about success and about worthiness. Do you know how many conversations I have with women? Hundreds. And the conversation is always shifting as we're maturing and as the industry around us is changing and our inputs are changing and our ideas are changing. And right now in this moment in time, what I'm seeing more than anything is women's feelings about how good they're doing or not doing is leading them to quit and spin their wheels and backslide and not make the improvements they want to make. So we're doubling down on feelings because that's where we're at culturally. We have to sprinkle these conversations about perseverance, persistence, resiliency, not quitting. We have to sprinkle these conversations in to keep you anchored and focused on what you really want. That's why today's lesson is about quitting. You're not a quitter. Just everything you've tried up until now wasn't for you. It wasn't great for you. We know it wasn't great for you because you couldn't keep doing it when life got in the way. We have to fit your eating plan into your life, not the other way around. This is my pal who loves tracking her food for some ungodly reason. She rearranges her life so that she can fit in her food tracking. I don't want to live a life like that. I don't want to be the person whose whole life is rearranged to make way for my diet. I want to live my life. I want to opt into adventures and awe, and I want to be in my life, and I want to be enjoying food and enjoying drinks and enjoying experiences and swimming in oceans and sitting on beaches and walking through forests and taking airplanes to faraway places and just living life and being with people. I don't want to be a professional dieter. I don't think you do either. So we have to figure out the minimum effective dose of stuff that we can get here to get the results we want, and then persist with the feelings that come up so we don't quit. Anything we didn't succeed at that we wanted to, it was some feeling that got in our way, some feeling that made us quit. It's always a feeling. We make our decisions based on feelings. At the beginning of this talk, I mentioned 3 feelings: discouragement, frustration, disappointment. And I had you sit with those words and those feelings so you could remember what it feels like when you feel them. They have a physical sensation in the body that is awful. And it's a feeling that we'd like to avoid. But avoiding or jumping away from the feeling like, ew, I'm discouraged, I'm out, it's just not working. At some point, we kind of have to muscle up, and we're tough bitches, okay? And say, you know what? I'm feeling disappointed, but I'm just going to sit here in this disappointment and persist with it and feel it. There's a lot of times we have physical sensations and we wish we could run away from them, but sometimes we can't. The example is when you stub your toe, okay? Ugh, what a gross feeling when you stub your toe. It's like the worst feeling, okay? We all know what it feels like when you stub your toe. It's like, you do that. You can't unstub your toe. You can't quit toe stubbing, right? You can't quit. You have to just feel the pain of the stubbed toe. And when you do, what happens? It's done after 90 seconds. It's not even a problem anymore. You just felt it. You gave yourself that 90 seconds to like feel the stubbed toe, and then you moved on. And we have to just apply that to this. So the idea of feeling your feelings, and no, even in the discomfort, the only way you're going to get through the feelings is to feel them all the way through. So here's the deal. If you hit the dip and then you quit, this is now your new level. You're now starting here. And now you're going to hit another dip, and now you're way down in the depths. If you can get out of the dip, you go to another level. You have to just persevere with that stubbed toe. It's a gross feeling, right? What I think is really interesting is that I can say, without a shadow of a doubt, I have solved my weight loss. I don't have extra weight to lose. If I look in the mirror and I don't like the shape of my body, this is a transient mental state. Physically, my body is as good as it's going to be. And that's been interesting, empowering to say, that's just up here. That's just a neck up problem. So that's one of the benefits of getting weight loss solved. But gang, it took me 15 years. I'm grateful I didn't quit 15 years ago when I was in the dip, because here I am now. And I don't say mean things about my body. And I don't really feel like I need to stress about my body. I have one of the most peaceful relationships with food and body of anybody I know. And it's wonderful to get there. And I think any one of you could get there. But we just have to quit quitting to get there. Like, I know 15 years sounds like a long time. What else are you going to do? Just diet and hate yourself for 15 more years? Just jumping from miracle to miracle and spinning your wheels and just feeling chronically discouraged? Because, like, listen, disappointment, discouragement, and frustration are not unique to my program. I'm just being honest about it. I'm just being honest and saying, when you're on a weight loss journey, here's the 3 predominant feelings that are going to cause you to bail. I'm just saying it's going to happen. So let's just factor it in. I'm factoring it in. I know you're going to think the results are too slow. Trust me. Oh my gosh. If you knew how many times I had this conversation in my day-to-day life, every single day, people say to my face, Erin, it's not working. And I'm like, yeah, it is, girl. But I feel you. You're in the dip. We have to just name and tame it. Be really honest about it. I'm not here to like smoke and mirrors you. I'm here to give it to you straight. So you can just be empowered in your own body, empowered on your own health journey. You have all the information. You can make your decisions from information. You can feel your feelings and know that that is also information, and succeed. So just anchor to realness. And a big part of the realness is your feelings, and your feelings of discouragement and disappointment and frustration. And when you feel them, please share them so that we can just say, oh, hey, there they are. There's those feelings that come up every time I try to lose weight. Every time. There they are. There they are again. And then just do the stubbed toe thing. Just breathe through it, and they'll pass. Big pep talk energy today. But I love giving pep talks. I think that's a big part of my job, is keeping people engaged in the process. You'll be so glad you didn't quit. Oh my gosh. You're going to feel so proud the first time you look back and say, you know what? I didn't quit when it got hard. You're going to feel so proud. That's how you make big change in your life.